Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people, and Doug has now taken over the whole channel. And he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Relentless and Unstoppable, and today we have Meredith O'Neal with us, and she survived one of the worst kind of illnesses there is. How you doing, Meredith?
I am doing great today. Just so pleased as punch to be here with you on this incredible podcast.
Yeah, I'm really honored to have you. You come from a foundation that's pretty big and pretty well known because of its connection to a previous actor in Hollywood. Give us a little info on that.
Yes, John Ritter. So the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health was founded in 2003 by actress, mother and friend of mine, Amy Yazbek, to honor the life and legacy of John Ritter, who many of you may know, but some of you may not. He was an actor on Three's Company. He played Jack Tripper. He was also in many movies, most notably Sling Blade, and then 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter with Kaylee Cuoco, which was actually the show that he was working on when he unfortunately passed away from an aortic dissection. And the purpose of this foundation, our mission, is to raise awareness of thoracic aortic aneurysm and dissection through education, research, and advocacy. And the reason we really talk about that in many, many ways, Douglas, is because this is considered a rare disease. So when John had his dissection in 2003, it was actually September 11th, 2003. So it's been 20 years since we've lost him. And he was misdiagnosed as having a heart attack. And, a white male in his mid-50s, maybe a little overweight, came in and they automatically just assumed he was having a heart attack. And so they started giving him blood thinners, and unfortunately, he passed away because of it. And because I can get into a little bit later what an aortic dissection is, which I think is important for people to understand. But basically, that's the worst thing that you can do, is to give people blood thinners, because it's a tear. It's not a blockage. And so he unfortunately passed away from that tragedy. Amy, how perfect for your podcast, and she wished she could be here today. But she was relentless and unstoppable, and she started the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health.
Yeah. So everybody, just so you all know a little bit about John Ritter, people like me and people from my generation will remember him as the voice of Clifford in the television show and in the movie. But unfortunately, because of his tragic death, he never got to see the movie that came out in 2004. And in fact, I read that his final lines for Clifford were recorded like a month or two before he passed away. And so he didn't really see the process of it being, completed and then seeing the movie, which really is unfortunate. But yeah, so that's what the John Ritter Foundation is about, right?
Absolutely. We invest in research, education, and advocacy to really get the word out there, and not just to the general public, but to clinicians and to patients as well. And it's not just professional for me. I am the CEO of the John Ritter Foundation, but it is personal as well. I had an aortic dissection in 2018. I am the fifth dissection in 4 generations for my family. And what makes my story unique, but not, I know many others that have gone through this, but what makes our story is a little more scary is 50% of people don't actually make it to the hospital after they've had a dissection. I was lucky enough to make it to the hospital. And what made mine a little more complicated was I was 37 and a half weeks pregnant when I dissected. And so they had to figure out how to get my son out and my aorta placed on the same table. And so my son is now 5, and there's a lot more to that story that I'm happy to share with you, but that is how I got involved and why the John Ritter Foundation is important to me, because for me, for the Ritters, for many other families, aortic disease is a familial disease. 20% of people who have had an aortic dissection have had someone else in their family who have had an aortic dissection. So that's a big number. So if we can find those people, those first-degree relatives, I think we can prevent a lot of dissections happening.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.